The final warning exotic sidearm is out. It's basically a smart pistol, and the reviews on it range anywhere from it's trash to it's broken in PvP. So some say it's butts, others say it's absolutely nuts. And in today's video, I'm going to give you my full thoughts on this thing after several hours of PvP with it, learning all the tricks and the tips and the skill tech with this thing. So stick around, you'll see some things that will leave you scratching your head, I'm sure. But before that, this video is sponsored by Ipsos, I say, so let me take a very brief minute to thank them. So I'm running a poll right now for y'all to tell me what kind of content you're most interested in from my channel for Lightfall. And that helps me know how to serve you better. But imagine if you could tell people what you think in these polls and then actually get free gift cards for doing it. That's literally what Ipsos I say does as one of the largest market research groups in the world. They have surveys tailored to your interests where you can answer simple, fun questions and then win tons of different kinds of gift cards. Most notably, Amazon gift cards. Like, who doesn't want free money to the website that sells everything under the sun? The surveys are quick and easy, which I love. Do them on the go, waiting in line at school drop-off or pickup, or in those moments of peace in the restroom that you get. Parents, you know what I'm talking about. The website is incredibly easy to use and navigate, and surveys are just a couple of quick clicks away from your homepage. So get up and running right now just by clicking the link in the description and start earning rewards just for sharing your thoughts on Ipsos I say today. Get heard, get rewarded, it's just that easy. Alright, let's get back to Destiny. Okay, the final warning exotic sidearm. Is it butts or is it nuts, right? I'm sure you've seen and heard a wide variety of reports about this gun. You've seen some crazy full kills around corners and over boxes and barricades. Massively exaggerated clips and hot takes hit Twitter the night this became available. But I didn't want to give a knee-jerk reaction. I wanted to take it out to dinner and ask insightful questions about it. You know, what it likes and dislikes. Maybe pick up the tab and tip the waiter well and then take her home for some gentle but respectful loving before I took to social media to offer my thoughts about her. And I'm glad that I did, because I went through a dramatic emotional journey with this thing. There were moments I wanted to break it down for parts. Other times I wanted to marry it. And then ultimately, I just ended up realizing that the final warning is one of the weirdest weapons we've ever had in Destiny, and she's a fickle thing. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Let me get some of the basics out of the way real quick. The final warning is a strand weapon, so it does synergize very well with strand builds. You can make severing blasts, have severing rounds, create threadlings, all of that just by using the weapon in general. It's really fun in PvE, I love it. Does great damage to trash mobs and majors alike. The exotic perk is all at once. Holding down the trigger marks targets within range and loads multiple bullets which fire in a burst with increased stability on trigger release. Hitting a marked target with a fully charged burst will unravel them. That then pairs with the other unique perk on the gun called Pick Your Poison. When hip firing, projectiles will track marked targets, dealing increased body shot damage. When aiming down sights, projectiles have greatly increased velocity and deal extra critical hit damage to marked targets. In PvP, you're looking at doing 71 damage to the head on tracked targets. It's a genuine melt. The catch, though, is that it takes a full second to charge the sidearm up. When you release the full charge, you're going to be firing off 10 rounds from your 20-round magazine. That leaves you with another full charge before reloading. You can tap fire this thing too, but the damage is poor and the timing of the shots is slightly delayed. So you really only want to do that to clean up weakened targets. But what people quickly learned is that you don't need to commit to the full charge. All you really need to do is wait for the tracking diamond to turn red and then release the trigger. When you do it this way, you can single out an individual target, track them until the white diamond turns red, then release the trigger, and you'll fire off maybe 6 or 8 bullets instead of the full 10. And that's fine because you really only need 3 headshots to kill an enemy in PvP. So the game changes a little bit. The question then becomes, how can I pre-charge at just the right time so that when I first make visual contact with an enemy, I can get the red diamond and release the charge quickly? So you start pre-charging corners, you double tap the weapon swap button to cancel the charge, or you sprint cancel it. You're playing a much different game now. It's all about prediction, almost like a fusion rifle in that regard. And when you challenge people, you're going high or low to try and get an extra second to fully acquire the target without them shooting you down first. And let me tell you, when you start playing Final Warning that way, things get a little different. There's good news and there's bad news. The good news is that in average lobbies, against average players, getting those ridiculous Twitter-worthy kills becomes much more common. Maybe once or twice a game, maybe more than that if you're lucky, you'll have a crazy kill to show off. A kill that makes the viewer say, holy crap, that's totally busted. And you can start making this thing work for you. You'll be full killing people around corners and walls, over boxes and barricades, making people look silly. You'll be pre-charging at just the right time so that when you come around the corner, you see that guy, you release the trigger and just bam, 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 bam. He has no shot, no time to react, and he's dead. Basically what you're doing is charging in hipfire mode, acquiring the target, ADSing, and then hitting the crits. But I did say there's bad news, and here's the honest truth of the matter. Even once I learned all the tricks to this sidearm, even when I was pre-charging, double swapping and sprint canceling, hipfire charging and releasing as soon as I saw the red diamond, and then ADSing to get those 71 damage crits, hey, this thing still has a ceiling. And it's unfortunately lower than a lot of the lobbies that I play at. I mashed several 3 to 4 stacks while playing this weekend, and I could go from a 37 kill game with a 3.5 KD in an average lobby against average players, to then going against a pre-made team with top tier gear and guns on, and this thing may as well have been my college roommate's crusty sock he left laying around. Still don't know what that thing was for. But anyway, my point is, in that environment against players who don't stand still, who hit their shots, who aren't afraid to push you aggressively, this thing absolutely was out of its league. I got some silly kills here and there against those players, but I lost those matches, and overall, I played very poorly. The scoreboard reflected that. And when I matched one of those same teams again, I put on one of my standard loadouts and went nearly double positive as a solo player against their stack and had a very respectable score to show for it at the end of the match. The only difference was the sidearm. So where does that leave us then? Is this thing butts? Or is it absolutely nuts in PvP? Well, here's where I stand. This gun is much like Jotun. In this sense, it's cool. It has a lot of character. It looks and performs in a unique way, and some people find it annoying to play against. In standard lobbies, against average players, this thing is capable of doing some very silly things and topping leaderboards if you know how to use it. But it does have a ceiling where it will get outperformed and it will get stomped back down into the minor leagues. At that level, players aren't going to allow themselves to continue to die to it. They won't let you back around the corner after you acquire the target. They're going to chase you around that corner, and they're going to shove a shotgun down your throat, and then they're going to teabag you and shoot your body. That's just the reality of it. So it really depends on what kind of lobbies you tend to play in. If you're on the upper end of the skill gap, you might struggle to play well with this thing, even when you learn how to use it properly. But if you tend to play somewhere in the upper mid to mid tier lobbies, and you learn the tech behind it, this thing could treat you really, really well. So my recommendation is that you try this thing out, you'll learn how to use it properly. It takes a lot of practice and some time, but once you do, you can do some really fun and silly things with it. It's a super cool weapon, and I think it's easily a B tier, maybe a low A tier weapon. It's not butts. But I definitely don't think it's going to be breaking any metas or finding a home in the high end of competitive play in Destiny 2 anytime soon. If that changes in 4 to 5 weeks from now and it has a very strong presence in the flawless pool of Trials of Osiris and Ascendant lobbies and comp, then I will eat crow with a smile on my face because I would love to be wrong about that. But until then, those are my thoughts and predictions, but I want to know what you think. How are you liking the final warning in PvP? Is it surprising you and letting you do some fun and silly stuff like me? Tell me in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching the video. Feel free to leave a like on it only if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing for additional Destiny 2 content. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.
That shut them down. 2 for 1.